Have you ever thought that God thinks about various aspects of our lives? He thinks about our faith, salvation, forgiveness. He thinks about our marriage. He thinks about our family. He thinks about our health. And He even thinks about the food that we eat. You might be surprised, but even in the prophecy of Isaiah, when they were talking about the virgin getting a baby, and it was Jesus, predicted almost 700 years before He was born, it was given their instruction as to what He's supposed to eat. Look at this. In Isaiah 7, chapter, verse 15. He shall eat curds and honey when he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good. Another translation says for curds, yogurt. Let me remind you that's goat's milk yogurt. It's interesting that God is giving instruction how the Son of God, in this case also, who is going to become the Son of Man, Emmanuel, God with us, is to be nourished. What kind of food He is to eat. God has a lot to say as to what we are to eat. For example, when He created the first man and woman in Genesis chapter 1, 29, He says, "And God said, Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food." Not only is He teaching us what we are supposed to eat, but He's also teaching what His Son should be eating. And it's interesting, the purpose for which He should be eating properly. You know, it has an effect in how He makes moral choices as He grows up. The same way that food that we today eat and that our youth eats has an effect on the moral choices that they make. Nowadays, there are many of them that eat processed food, fried food, so to say junk food, fast food, and as a result, a lot of moral choices that they're making is promiscuity and drug and alcohol abuse and many other problems that they run into it. Look where I found that from. It says here in the second part of this verse in Isaiah, when he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good. In another translation it says, until he knows. In other words, he's supposed to eat this type of food until he knows. In King James it says, that he may know. In other words, he's supposed to eat this food, God-given food, so that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. In other words, the food that we eat has an effect on the moral choices we make. Not only the instruction that we receive, not only the examples we see in those who are training us, but also the food that we eat. It's so important. Did you know that about 80% of our immune system cells are found in our digestive tract, which is the stomach, the small and large intestines? And our immune system produces little proteins that are called antibodies that fights the foreign invaders in our body. And it's so important that we nourish our body with good food, good fuel to replenish and to strengthen our immune system. You know, if we take fresh fruits, they're like cleansers in our body. They cleanse our systems from free radicals and from all kinds of infections. One of the major reasons for any sickness is really inflammation of our body, and the more we give alkaline food like fresh fruits and vegetables, the healthier we become. And when we take fresh vegetables, they are builders of our body. So we need to give our body the fuel that it needs to run in a healthy way, to restore itself. Almost every year we change and get every cell renewed in our body. Even our bones need a few years and they get replenished. So the proper nourishment is so important. That's why God is teaching us what we should be eating. Actually in Exodus, when we look in Exodus chapter 23, 25, it says there the following. You shall serve the Lord your God, and He will bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from among you. It's interesting what God is saying here. He says, you're going to serve the Lord. And when you and I fully commit ourselves to serving Him, to obeying Him, to doing what is pleasing in His sight, He is going to bless our food and our water. He's going to bless what we put into our bodies. And that what we put in our bodies is going to be used by God to remove all sicknesses from amongst us. As I said a few minutes ago, our immune system needs good fuel to be nourished so it can be strong. So when foreign invaders like infections and bacteria come, it can fight it and destroy it so it doesn't have a negative effect on us. And major sicknesses, as I said, come from inflammation of any part in our bodies. And when we put alkaline food, like fresh fruits and vegetables, and alkaline water, which you can do easily just putting a little bit of lemon in a cup of water, it gives the proper fuel to our body to strengthen the immune system. And that immune system then God has created to fight off sicknesses and to restore our bodies to full health. Not only is that important for our health, as I mentioned, but like in Isaiah 7:15, we could see it's important for making proper moral choices. One of the reasons, not a major reason, but one of the reasons why our youth are so promiscuous, our youth is using substance abuse like drugs and alcohol and even cigarettes, is because they are eating the wrong food. As I said, there is other aspects like examples that we set, the teaching that we do, but also the food. So consider changing your diet if necessary. This is a teaching that God is giving how the Son of God should be fed. Now, if it's good for the Son of God, it should be good for us as well. May you be encouraged to consider mending your ways if necessary, so that you can bless your children, you can bless your family, and pray that you will only prepare what is healthy and what is good for your family to eat.